Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So, I thought what better thing to do than to take live questions from yourselves and see, well, what sort of questions come up and how I can help. So, if this is something you guys like and want me to do more of, make sure to like this video, let me know in the comments below, and well, if you like it, I'll do it more often. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Habibi, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm well, man, I'm well.
So obviously since I've took your recruitment course, it's probably got more recruitment suited.
No problem.
I'd say, how would you differentiate yourself? Not you specifically, but anybody that takes the course, for example, or that jumps into recruitment and sort of takes the the approach that you give in terms of having a bunch of access to a bunch of CVs without saying the specific way. How can you be first to market or basically place people at a high rate when everybody else is doing the same thing basically?
Are you saying how can you charge more? Is that what you're asking?
No, so like in a competitive market, right?
Sure.
Where everybody
how can you stand out?
Taking the same approach, how can you stand out? Yeah.
Okay, so I think first of all, the main thing is the pie is definitely big enough for us. And what do I mean by this? Let me explain. Recruitment generically is done by businesses, by recruitment companies, by people doing it professionally in a corporate environment. There are not that many people actually doing it alone in their house, in an office, etc., etc. Okay, so like something like social media marketing, for example, has gone through a transition over the last, I would say, let's say, for example, last 5 years, where even a 21, 22-year-old now is doing social media marketing, doing it very well, and actually doing very well for themselves. Recruitment now hasn't gone through that transition. So the recruitment market in the UK alone, I think last time I checked, it was 30 billion in the UK, which might just be random numbers, but the point being is it's definitely a big enough market. Now, how can you stand out? How can you sort of make sure you're getting an element of the pie? To be honest with you, it's all about the candidate. If you get the right candidate, a client will be interested in hearing it. So if I now have I own a recruitment company, right? In my recruitment company, I specialize with engineering companies.
Yeah.
So now if someone calls me, and it could be a random person, bro, and says, by the way, I've got a really good recruitment guy, he's looking for work, he's local to you, and he's done some engineering experience before, I would definitely be all ears, because that is going to be good for my business and that's going to help my business. Why would I say no?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, makes sense.
And of course, some people will say no. Of course, some people, but the reality is you only need 2 or 3 clients to say yes. You build on that relationship, you find them the right sort of candidates, keep in touch with them, that sort of thing. And then, so after you get the jobs, by the way, getting the jobs is actually very easy for anyone
of course
listening to this. I don't know if you have done calls or anything right now, but bro, honestly, getting jobs is easy. And that's actually a misconception that people think that it's hard, but it's not. So getting the jobs is easy, but it's then building on that relationship. Maybe go meet the client. Maybe, you're emailing them like 7 o'clock in the morning and you say something like, make sure CVs are with you by 5 p.m. today, and you have it sent at 4:30. These little things make a huge difference, and that's how you build on a relationship with a client.
Sure, that makes sense. How many questions can I ask?
And no problem. You can ask another. No problem.
Yeah, all right, fantastic.
Yeah, for sure.
So go on, a few more questions in that case. So one issue that I found is unreliable, because I'm in a, I don't want to get too specific, but I'm in the blue collar sector.
Amazing.
Which is really good at the moment, because like you said, it's really easy to get clients on board, etc. However, with skilled individuals, they know that they're in demand, and sometimes it's easy for them to just agree to an interview or something, and then just not turn up. And I've had this literally with one client several times, which is super annoying. So how can you sort of filter through, or is it just a numbers game?
This is I would say probably one of the most important parts of the recruitment process, because the problem in recruitment is it's a sales industry, but not only are you selling to the client, you're also selling to the candidate. So we're selling twice. right? And we don't get paid until we sell, until they both buy, basically. So there's something that I use with candidates, and I asking the right questions is very, very important. And so, for example, I will always try to, if it's blue collar, especially now, blue collar, just for the viewers, blue collar means like, not the higher salaries, not the, the lavish jobs. But when it comes to that side, you have to think about the things that make a big difference to them. Like, is it local enough? Is there progression for them? Is it, okay, the salary, 50p makes a big difference, in the blue collar side. That's just the reality of it. When did they last update their CV, and since how long have they been looking? Do they have other interviews going on right now? So, for example, I have a client now, it's massively blue collar. To give you an idea, it's only £2,000 a fee, but it's practically, they will say to me, send the CV, get them in for interview. We don't even want to see the CV, like that, basically. So it's worth it for me. It's worth it for me because it's like, you're not even doing an interview. But on that, there are things that I will have to bear in mind. Things like, if this person has worked on a high salary before, is he going to take a lower salary? Is he just out of a job, right? All these things matter massively, and it's about sometimes a mistake we make. I don't know if this is a mistake that you have made, where a candidate will say, I'm interested. We won't probe on it more. We'll say, yeah, he's interested or she's interested. Send the CV forward. Sit on it for 2-3 days thinking, well, he's getting an interview, but actually we never asked the right questions in the beginning. Does that resonate
that
with
makes sense.
So sometimes that's something that we do. So I think probing them in the beginning, it will save you time for the long term. If you then, like, for example, if you just get a candidate who says, I'm interested, and you're ready to send a CV forward, that's great. But then sometimes what can happen is, you send a CV and then you don't look for more people. But actually, if you figured out that he wasn't serious, you will continue to find someone who is serious.
Sure.
Does that make sense? So, like, you might get, like, right now, the market, especially the blue collar market, Europe, unfortunately, the European market is close to non-existent. So there's a lot of people coming from South Asia and stuff like that. So, someone who just comes from South Asia or Turkey or something like that, and you think, oh, they need a job right now, they'll relocate, they'll take anything. They just want a progressional job or something like that. So I think it's just more understanding the candidate's needs and understanding that when it's the blue collar stuff, the smallest detail makes a difference.
Fair enough. Barakallahu feek, akhi, and thank you for your time.
No problem, my brother. No problem. Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.